So, once upon a time, the world of home recording was dominated by something that looked a lot like this. And now it's dominated by something that looks a lot more like this. So we're going to talk today about the difference between a portable mixer and a audio interface. So within the last 20 years, the portable mixer has kind of taken a back seat to the audio interface in terms of home recording, and there's a lot of reasons why. So what exactly is the reason behind this, and are there any advantages to the portable mixer when compared to the audio interface? Yes, there are. So, but within that, what applications would the mixer be more useful over the audio interface? Really quick, I just wanted to say thank you to Flamma for sending this over. They're an awesome company making some really cool, innovative new sort of audio gadgets, varying from guitar pedals to vocal processors, then to obviously little portable mixers like this. They make really cool stuff. Please go check them out. They were nice enough to give me this for this specific video, so thank you to them. Okay, so back to that question though. What are the advantages of a portable mixer over an audio interface? Well, the short answer is mixers are pretty much used in live scenarios these days. And when I say that, I'm talking about portable mixers, obviously not like these full-blown consoles. And not to say that you can't use a mixer in a home studio, but a lot of their functionality has been replaced by the audio interface and in a more efficient manner. A lot of it has also been replaced by digital processing, things like plugins. See, unlike a lot of mixers, the audio interface is always going to have an analog to digital converter and a digital to analog converter. This is what makes it possible for the interface to communicate with your computer. Traditionally, mixers are not capable of doing this. They take one analog signal and they route it all down to one stereo signal that you can then plug in to a PA or studio monitors or maybe something for recording.
Hello, I'm editing and I think I need to interrupt myself in an effort to simplify things. I used the wrong term, which seems to be a pattern of mine. So mixers don't have to be just analog. There are digital mixers out there. The point is that they're just not connecting to a computer. So there can still be digital mixers. They're just not necessarily connecting to a computer. Okay, let's go.
So because of this, a large portion of mixers come with onboard processing, things like EQ, compression, sometimes even modulation like reverb or delay. See, but in audio interfaces, all of these things are taken care of inside of the program, the DAW, the digital audio workstation. A lot of times, audio interfaces will also come with all these things on the back that help other devices communicate with your computer better. Things like MIDI out, which is helpful for communicating with external hardware, external sequencers, external synthesizers, and things like a clock out, which will sync all of these things together on time. You can begin to see how the audio interface is doing a lot of the same thing as a mixer, but it's doing it all in service of the computer and the programs inside of it. So we have two scenarios kind of built up here. One, sometimes portable, sometimes not, but regardless, is going to need your computer to function. It wants to be the heart of your studio. Whether that means it's a portable studio or not, it wants to be at the center of it, and it wants a computer. The other one remains analog, doesn't need a computer, so therefore is arguably more portable, and it's going to shoot everything out as a stereo image that you can put into anything that accepts a 1/4-inch cable out or an XLR out or whatever you happen to have. And it's likely going to a PA system, right? Can you use a mixer for a studio? Yes, but my question to you is why? Most of the functionality is going to be in your computer and in your audio interface, but there is some applications where this could be useful. For example, extending the amount of inputs that you have available to your audio interface. Let's say, for example, you have an audio interface that can have 2 inputs. Well, then I guess what we could do is we could have 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 inputs on your mixer and have it all routed out to stereo on input 1 and input 2 of your audio interface. Suddenly then, your audio interface has 6 inputs. But as mentioned before, unless you have individual outputs for your mixer, it's going to be left as a stereo image. So you can't do much processing after all this enters the DAW. So this could be a scenario where you use it for a podcast. You could do all the processing on the mixer itself, have it sent to the audio interface, and then only use the stereo image that you output from your mixer as like treatment later. Not the most ideal setup, but it could be good for large parties of people recording a podcast. So let's take a look at some of the features of this Flamma mixer and see how contemporary mixers can make it in an age full of mostly audio interfaces. I know this is kind of a mess of wires at the moment, but it kind of displays what I'm talking about. So all of these things here, this wire, and this wire, they're all inputs. I have the microphone I'm speaking into here, I have a guitar here, and then I have a drum machine here, all of which is being routed into these two cables on the output side, which are then being sent into the audio interface. And if we take a look at the screen, you'll see input 1 and input 2 are our stereo image. Now that means if I record, you're going to see the input showing up on both inputs 1 and 2. And if I play the drum machine and the guitar, it's not exactly the most musical thing, but you can see all these things are coming through at the exact same time, and they're all coming through on 2 tracks. Now, traditional mixers aren't necessarily going to have this exact same layout, but what you can see is we have a compression and EQ kind of as a standard little preset that we can hit here, and it's going to change my voice. I don't necessarily like the way that sounds. We have a reverb, so I can sound way out there. And then on the guitar channel here, I have an amp simulator, which I kind of like. It beefs up the tone. And then a reverb as well. That's pretty much the whole thing. We have a headphone monitor if we want. I'm currently monitoring out of the audio interface. We have a loopback function. We can plug in via USB-C to play backing tracks to our phone, and we have a little volume set for that as well. You can see this thing is completely tailored to live playing. All right, there's my quick and kind of weird demo. Back to talking. So as exhibited by the FM10, the mixer we were just working on, contemporary mixers are much more about ease of use and about making your live playback as seamless and easy as possible. Again, thank you to Flamma for sending this over for this video. If you'd like to check out the FM10, I will link it down in the comment pinned below. And if you want to follow me on Instagram at @RealAudioHaze, that's the best place to have a conversation with me about any of your gear needs. Kind of hard to do it in the YouTube comments now. If you'd want to work on a project with me, including voiceover, lessons, obviously music production, you can email me at realaudiohaze@gmail.com. And with that, I will see you in the next video, my friends.